Yes, please. My phone is there. YouTube channel here. My phone is there. And the music always
Yes, it is the final match of the qualifiers for the AFCON 2023 that will be played in 2024 against the São Tomé and Principe right there at the Goswell International Stadium that is in Akwa Ibom State, Uyo precisely. The Super Eagles, as we speak right now, having their first training session preparing for the encounter against São Tomé and Principe. And we know that game is as good as a dead rubber game, but you know, football, a lot of things can happen. Surprises happen in football. Somebody once said on this show that if São Tomé and Principe gets a draw, then that is going to be a big, it's going to be a big one. But sincerely speaking, you know, at times in football, you just have to accept some of the results. Who would have believed that Qatar, right there in Qatar 2022, Saudi Arabia will beat Argentina in their group opener. So a lot of surprises happen in football, and as they say, they are no longer minnows when it comes to football. The smaller countries are now doing better when it comes to the round leader game, trying to muscle and rub shoulders with the big boys, the big countries. We saw what happened to Cameroon in the World Cup, the likes of Portugal, the likes of England, the top countries in the World Cup were given a surprise of their life, were given a run for their money by teams people deemed too small to those nations, and that is what the Super Eagles are doing right about now at the Goswell International Stadium, that is Akpabio Stadium in Uyo that precisely preparing for the match against São Tomé and Principe come this weekend. On that note, I'll be welcoming you to Sports Update. I am Emmanuel Fashime. Sincerely speaking, I think the Super Eagles a lot has actually well, the good, the bad, and the ugly has happened with this team, and a lot of persons are saying some persons are of the opinion that Super Eagles can actually do well come Cote d'Ivoire. That is, the Nations Cup will be happening in Cote d'Ivoire 2023, but will be played in 2024 because of a logistics reason. The Nations Cup was moved from this year to next year. So a lot of persons have that share belief mindset that the Super Eagles are going to maybe go far in the Nations Cup, while some say with Jose Pizarro, Super Eagles will not go anywhere. And to tell you the truth, the journey starts from here, because their last match of the qualifying game against São Tomé and Principe is coming up this weekend, and as we speak, they are having their first training session at the Gulfsville International Stadium in Uyo. That is the Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, and they are trying to put all their Arsenal together as we speak. I think the camp has we have early birds, about 8 players coming in early, and we were still expecting some other players to join them tonight, and probably tomorrow they'll have their second training session. But as we speak right now, their first training session is ongoing. They are trying to master their skills and see how they can take on São Tomé and Principe. And a lot of persons has shared this opinion that Jose Pizarro, the man who just got his contract extended, should give chance to the fringe players, the likes of Tyrone Ebuehi, Jamilu Collins, and then the new call-ups, that is Gift Orban, and the man that is cheering the Bundesliga apart right now, Boniface, Victor Boniface. All of them should be given the likes of Onyemechi, Frank Onyeka from Brentford, should be given a chance to see what they've got for the Super Eagles. And also, fans has been saying that Jose Pizarro needs to have a first 11. So we want to see the Super Eagles having first 11, second 11, and that is what the fans are expecting. But this time around, the match against São Tomé and Principe will not be happening in the city of Abuja. Their last game here against Guinea-Bissau, they were beaten. That is in the MKO Abiola National Stadium here in the city of Abuja. They were beaten 1-0, and they went back, and they also got the same result, the same margin, 1-0, and that because it was a wake-up call, and Abuja fans were disappointed twice. We remember during the World Cup qualifiers against the Black Stars of Ghana, we were ousted right here in the city of Abuja, and then coming the game for the Nations Cup qualifier, we were beaten in this in the MKO Abiola National Stadium. But now calls have been coming that they should move their matches away from Abuja, and that move has actually occurred this weekend. That match will be happening at Gulfsville Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, that is Akwa Ibom State. They will be playing against the São Tomé and Principe. 23 players were invited to the camp by Jose Pizarro, and now we have some new faces who were invited. So I think these new faces should get the chance, should get the nod, should get at least should get the starting up line, should be in the starting up line. Let's see if Victor Osimhen is not there, if Kelechi Iheanacho is not there, if Moses Simon is not there, if although Ahmed Musa is not called up this time around, if Ahmed Musa is not there, no longer there again, because he's the oldest player in that team, and if the likes of William Trusekon is not there, Shemi Ajayi, who is a regular face in the team right now, Kelvin Bassey, Bright Onyemechi, Bruno Onyemechi, the man from Portugal. If these guys are not available, let's see if we can have a second team that can replace them whenever these guys are not sent call-ups. But it's a good one that Gift Orban and Victor Boniface, these two players are tearing Europe apart with goals, scoring goals with reckless abandon in Germany and then in Belgium. Victor Boniface over the weekend got a brace in Bayer Leverkusen 5-1 thrashing of their opponent, and he got a brace in that particular match. And as we speak, he has gotten 5 goals in the Bundesliga this season. He's a man, he's a force to be reckoned with. He should be given the at least play this guy alongside Gift Orban. Let's see if we can have if Taiwo Awoniyi and Victor Osimhen is not playing, these 2 guys can pair up. We actually need a pairing, a very good pairing for the Super Eagles. And now for Jose Pizarro, identifying these 2 players, in fact, sending them call-ups to the Super Eagles is actually a welcome development. We want to see the Super Eagles go to the Nations Cup and then come back with the trophy for the 4th time. We've been able to win the Nations Cup 3 times. The last time out was in South Africa, where Sondonba's Longo gave us victory against Burkina Faso. And this time around, we are hungry for the 4th title. The likes of Egypt has won it more. The likes of Egypt, Cote d'Ivoire, they've won the Nations Cup more than Nigeria. And Egypt is the Egypt is the Real Madrid, the national team like Real Madrid of Africa. They've won the Nations Cup more than any other country, any other nations in Africa, in the continent. And now Nigeria too can do that. Who says Nigeria cannot win the Nations Cup back-to-back 3 times in a row? We can do it. If Real Madrid did it in club football in Europe, where they won the La Decima, they won the Champions League. They are perennial winners of the Champions League. So Super Eagles can win the Nations Cup back-to-back and make it 6 times. So and then maybe we just have we'll be close to Egypt in the numbers of AFCON that they have won. But the Super Eagles, I think they are on course to actually do well come next year in Cote d'Ivoire. If they don't do well, then we have to hold Jose Pizarro responsible. A lot of fans have been calling. Have been saying that Jose Pizarro is not the man for the job. Well, who is the man for the job? NFF is saddled with that responsibility, and the body of the NFF, that is the technical committee of the NFF, are responsible for getting coaches for the national team. So they find Jose Pizarro worthy, they find him good enough for the Super Eagles. So who are we to say no? They are the one calling the shots, but we can only suggest, we can only tell them this is what we see, and then when they take our suggestion to consideration, then we can have another coach for the Super Eagles. We have our ex-players who are doing well when it comes to coaching, but well, the technical committee of NFF decided after long contract and negotiation, you have to cut down on your contract. That was what Jose Pizarro accepted, and his contract was extended till next year. He will be taking Super Eagles to the Nations Cup. And as we speak, like I said, against the match coming up against São Tomé and Principe, right there at the Goswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, they are training. They're having their first training session, and then tomorrow we'll have about 8 players early arrived. About 8 players arrived early enough, and some other players are still being expected. The likes of Samuel Chukwueze, Kelechi Iheanacho landed at the same time, and with a couple of other players right there in Uyo. So we're still expecting more of them to join up. 23 players will be in camp. Maybe by the end of tomorrow, all 23 players, or almost, maybe all, or at least more than half of the players will be in Uyo, and then we'll be expecting São Tomé and Principe to come down to Uyo also. And a lot of persons say, whoop, these guys 10, you can score 10, you can score 20, you can score 11. It's not basketball, but sometimes we can have this kind of score when it comes to football. So like we speak, Super Eagles are having their first training session right now, feeling the turf of the Goswill Akpabio International Stadium. You know, you will still come back to that story. Okay, let's quickly talk about some other stories on the show this evening. Let's go straight to the Nigerian Olympic Committee. They've put up together, this is a very good idea, where they will be training sport directors of the universities we have in Nigeria. This is where talents are gotten. We remember just of recent, the World University Games happened in Nigeria. We have our contingent, we had Nigerians who went to the World University Games. Now the NOC have decided to get to to train the director of sports of the various universities we have in the country, and this is to brace them up with the latest development when it comes to sports. So, and it's a good one, it's a welcome development. That office is being headed and being chairman by by engineer Habib Gumel. He's the man in charge, and these are some of the innovations, ideas we want to see. Trend, and at sometimes I remember where PhD teachers were also trained. So these are welcome developments. If the director of sports of the various universities get training, it's a good one. Is to brace them up on the latest development when it comes to sports, and it will help them to actually carry out their duties when they go back to their various universities, how to train students, how to get talent for national assignments, and that is what we want. Players like Vincent Enyama were discovered from the school. He's a graduate. A lot of players, if you remember, Olofin Jana, these are players who were discovered in their playing days when they were in the university. So the university is a good ground for talent hunt, where you can also get a matured talent for the Super Eagles, for the various clubs, and it's a good one if MPFL teams, MPFL clubs can send their scouts out to universities, scouts for players, put them on scholarship, encourage them, and would say these are some of the things we need to do. We will keep saying go back to the drawing board. The drawing board is already filled up. We just have to take action. We just have to stand up. We just have to do the needful, and which is a very good one and a welcome development from engineer Habib Gumel of the NOC, by training the director of sports of the various universities in Nigeria. Okay, let's leave the NOC and talk about another special athlete. She was right there in Budapest, in person of Ruth Usoro, where she actually wins her first professional meet in Italy. She's a long jumper. She was there with Ese Brume in Budapest, where they competed, but she did not make the final. She finished in the 13th position, while Ese Brume finished fourth, was standing fourth in the final of the long jump event in Budapest. But right now, after Budapest, I think it's a good news for Ruth Usoro, where she actually jumped an impressive distance of 6.75 meters for a dominant victory over the field, with Croatia Neja Filipics 6.18 meters, good enough, and place her in second position. But with her jump of 6.75 meters, she actually won that meet in Italy. So it's a good one. Congratulations to Ruth Usoro, another athlete that we are looking at. She's going to stay very long when it comes to the long jump. And we have another Ese Brume standing by, and now it's a good thing she wins her first professional meet in her career right there in Italy. I think Italy is a very good ground for Ruth Usoro for winning her first meet at the Città di Padova meet in Italy. That was the place where she won her first meet, and it's a good one. Congratulations to Nigerian this long jumper Ruth Usoro, and congratulations to everyone who actually see that Ruth Usoro is doing well in that sport. Okay, let's leave Ruth Usoro and talk some cricket right now, where the cricket captain, that is for the women, has promised Blessing A team, who doubles as a coach and a development officer for the Nigeria Cricket Federation in Akwa Ibom State, is confident that the state will deliver on its mandate of discovering 30,000 players from now till next year. Is a good one. The cricket facilities was just recently launched, a few weeks ago was launched, when the ICC Trophy Tour came down to Nigeria, and now the Blessing A team coach and the development person for the Nigerian Cricket Federation has promised on their mandate to get about 30,000 cricket players from Akwa Ibom State from now till next year. Who say it's not feasible? If they can do it in Zamfara, they can also do it in Akwa Ibom, and it's a good one coming from an inspirational captain, Blessing A team. She's one talent that what to look for when it comes to on your screen. You can see her right there. When it comes to cricket in Nigeria, she's a fantastic player, fantastic talent. Cricket is one sport that when you understand it, you will love it. This is one of the biggest sports. It's not one of the biggest sports. It is the biggest sport in India, the likes of Bangladesh, Pakistan, and then South Africa, England. When it comes to cricket, some of them even they love cricket more than football. Football is just being followed, but when it comes to cricket, if you go into India and the likes of Mumbai in India, you see where they play cricket, and we have a cricket just like the way you play that is the English Premier League in football. They also have a cricket league in India. So it's to tell you, it is the biggest sport in India. They invest so much in cricket. So we say Nigeria cannot invest in cricket. We can also do that, get raw talents, and now Blessing Etim, the inspirational captain, is actually leading that chart. 30,000 players from now till next year in Akwa Ibom State. How many local governments do we have in Akwa Ibom State? Now, she has promised that she's going to get 30,000 players. Wow, big one, a massive one. But like I said, if they can get 50 players from Zamfara, in code, Zamfara. Look at the state. Who says they cannot get 30,000 cricket players? Congratulations to Blessing Etim, and God bless her for all she's doing for the Cricket Federation, that is Nigerian Cricket Federation, and doing for the sport. We actually want to see that cricket is a sport that is doing well in Nigeria. Okay, like I said, that we'll still go back to the Gosway International Stadium in Uyo, where the Super Eagles is having their first training right now. Their first training session is ongoing pretty well for them, where they are mastering their skills. Come this weekend, we will be playing against São Tomé and Principe, and a lot of persons say if they get a draw, if São Tomé and Principe gets a draw in Uyo, then it's a loss for Nigeria, which is I actually support that, because if you look at São Tomé and Principe and Super Eagles of Nigeria, look at it, it's way apart. But like you all know, football is full of surprises. I mentioned it from the onset that there are no longer minnows in football. In code, no longer minnows in football. If you don't prepare well, the smaller team will come and hunt you. Just the way they did to us at the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja during the World Cup qualifiers, and then during this Nations Cup qualifier also. We were beating 1-0 here, right at our backyard. But in Uyo, I know the Super Eagles are going to get good victory for themselves. They are going to get victory for Nigerians. They are going to get victory for everyone. And it's a good thing that they will be playing that match in Uyo. And we are calling on Jose Pizarro, every sports fans, give the new invitees a chance to show their skills, the likes of Gift Urban, the likes of Victor Boniface, Tyrone Ebue, who is making a return, Jamilu Collins, who is making a return, Bruno Onyemechi, a lot of them in there. Give them a chance. Let's see if they can hold their own place, if they can get their place in the Super Eagles team. So come this weekend, we will be having that match against São Tomé Principe. Okay, before we go on the show, let's talk about one transfer story quickly, where we know that transfers are over in England, in the English Premier League, but in other leagues, transfer is still ongoing. In the Middle East, transfer is still ongoing. Now, Manchester United is looking to snap up João Paulinho from Fulham come next year January. That is next this mid-term transfers right there. He's a Fulham player. We know that Bayern Munich also came for this guy, but Fulham actually stood their ground. They didn't allow him to go. Now Manchester United are showing interest to snap up João Paulinho. He's a Portuguese player, fantastic midfielder. He's a box-to-box player, very good with clinical tackles. It's hard for you to see Joao Palinha getting unnecessary yellow cards, fouls, and the rest of them. He's a very good tackler, and if Manchester United can get this guy to their side, it's going to be a big plus. They are going to have somebody they will replace with this Brazilian guy. He is going to do well in Manchester United. That is a Casemiro. These are possible replacement for Casemiro eventually, or to play alongside Casemiro. It's a good one, and for Manchester United, I think they have their eyes, very good eyes. They have their scout on him. Come January, they will be doing business. Okay, that is where we'll leave it on the show Sports Update. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Thanks for watching.